We have Amy Hammond with us. She's a broker associate with Sotheby's International Realty. And Amy, you're also licensed in insurance. Is that right?
That's right.
You and I both know the weather can turn crazy on us, and that can wreak
Yep.
havoc on your roof, for example. Um,
hmm
what have you been seeing, especially since Helene? And have there been any changes as far as the difficulty of getting insurance when people try to get it?
Yeah, I've actually noticed it even prior to Helene, the changes in insurance starting to take place I would really say over the last 5 years.
Oh,
Uh, but especially since Helene, I've noticed insurance companies just within the real estate business. I wear two hats. So in the real estate business, I've noticed when someone comes over to get a new quote for a home that they're purchasing, the age of the roof is a major factor along
hmm.
with other little things, but the age of the roof has been a real huge factor as far as how much your insurance is going to be, or even if you can get it written at all.
So it's not a matter of, hey, the roof doesn't leak, we're fine anymore. Is that right?
No, it is the age of the roof. Um, and even I've had one that was 2 years old that after closing, the insurance came back and they gave them a letter of cancellation because they said the roof needed repairs. So we actually had to have two different roofing companies go out, inspect it, say that the roof was in good condition. All it was a nail pop, and I think one shingle had blown up a little bit from a windstorm, but they were able to repair it real quickly and take some pictures, and then we provided it to the insurance company, and then the insurance company then canceled their cancellation. So
Yeah.
um, they may come in after the fact. And so that's how it's playing such a huge role now for realtors in negotiating your contracts, and what most people aren't even aware of until after the fact. So it's time for this education moment to take place within our industry as far as realtors are concerned,
Hmm.
because it's not something that's well known unless you're in the insurance industry, unless it's happened to you.
Yeah.
But like I said, even after Helene, we're in an area here that we suffer, as you know, from wind and hail. So
Hmm.
they started with wind and hail riders at first, and then you had to have that add on to your policy. Well,
Okay.
that's kind of changing to if your roof is over 10 years old, you're going to pay through the roof.
So
No
to
pun
speak.
intended. And then or you're going to just get it denied or canceled right after closing.
Well, that'd be a rude surprise. So
Yeah,
who
it
who
has been. I've seen it.
so who is obviously insurance adjusters are visiting these homes and looking at the roofs. How are they determining that a 2-year-old roof does not qualify for insurance?
Well, the adjusters aren't the ones going and inspecting it. They have separate inspectors from the insurance company that are going out and just kind of doing a random, property inspection, not just on the roof, but just the
Hmm.
condition of the home in general.
Yeah.
I'm also a licensed adjuster as well as my husband, and he's a catastrophe adjuster.
Mhm.
We noticed a lot of these changes and maybe being a little bit more stingy on paying claims over time, or the amount. And those sort of things also affect the amount of your policy. Is
Mhm.
if you had any prior claims, and I've seen people being denied for a new policy because of previous claims.
Oh,
hmm
wow. And a lot of
Even
people
if
had
it's an act of
claims.
God. hmm
Yeah, yeah. Well, even with Helene, I mean, when
Yep.
entire neighborhoods were submitting claims, I can't remember who told me this, but they said that usually the people that are first to ask are the
hmm
ones that will get some help. And then, is it true that they kind of run out of money after a while? And if you wait and hold off before you
It
make a
it
claim,
it
or
just depends on who the insurance company is, really.
okay, all right.
You just have some insurance companies that are notorious for actually paying the claims,
Mhm.
and then you have other insurance companies that just don't pay claims. You have to fight for it.
So, as a real estate agent, both of us, what should we be telling our clients?
I think now it's important that we educate our clients when, like, especially if we have a buyer
Hmm.
and our buyer is looking at property, they determine what house that they like, they want to make an offer on it. We've got to pay close attention to these sellers disclosures, looking at the age of the roof, Because if the roof is over 10 years, that's going to become a different part of our negotiation strategy now,
Mhm.
because, insurance could come back and say, sorry, we're not going to, insure it because the roof age, or they're going to just deny it altogether. So therefore, a new roof could be, 15, 20, 25, $30,000, depending on the size of it.
Mhm.
I'd say an average is about 20 to 25,000.
Mhm.
So, that becomes something that us as agents, real estate agents, need to be able to kind of have that power at the beginning to say, we're going to renegotiate the price of the roof,
Mhm.
or negotiate knowing that we're not going to be able to get insurance on this, or reasonable
Mhm.
insurance.
Yeah.
And so therefore that becomes another negotiation point.
So at what point does a buyer need to start seeking out an insurance company for their home and their roof? And are those does the home insurance include the roof insurance, or is that also becoming a rider just because of all the claims?
I haven't seen it as a rider. Now I've seen, hail and wind as a rider. So yes, I guess in essence, but once a buyer has identified a property and you've paid attention to the seller's disclosure, I would say right away, contact your insurance agent to get a quote, because, while you're in your due diligence period, you should know within that time frame, and keep your due diligence period 2 weeks or a little longer, just so that your insurance company has time to do their inspections, and
Right.
whether or not you're going to be kicked back
Yeah. So the due
with.
diligence is a negotiated period of time where people can do any inspections they want. And
That's
so
right.
you're saying during that period, they should be seeking insurance to see if they'll qualify for it. Is that right? That house will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And make sure that that it falls within their, their, I guess, their budget.
Mhm.
Because, if they get a quote for a $5,000 a year policy when they were expecting a $2,000 a year policy, that's going to affect their bottom line massively. That, and if you've got it escrowed with your mortgage, that's going to increase your mortgage payment a good deal. So it affects how much they can afford at the end of the day. And if
Mhm.
they come back after closing and insurance is, they're at the end waiting 10 days prior to closing to get their insurance policy, and they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
this isn't what I expected. Now I don't know if I can afford this.
Mhm.
And it can affect their debt to income ratio as well. So the big picture is a lot more serious than what it used to be when you just kind of knew what a policy amount was going to be. It's not
And
that clear anymore.
yeah, and if it gets that far down the line and insurance falls through, is that protected with a contingency in a contract? Is that a finance
That's something
contingency?
I would say, yes, you need to have a contingency, but that would probably be something to ask your broker
Yeah, yeah.
on what your particular company policy would be on that.
Okay, gotcha.
But keep it in the back of your mind, because it is something that most people aren't aware of right now,
Yeah.
that these
So
changes have been made and policies are so much more expensive, or they're getting denied or canceled right after closing.
right. So it is worth asking questions as a buyer,
Hmm.
and it's worth asking questions as a buyer agent to the seller as far as the
Well, and it's worth
condition and age of the roof.
a listing agent telling their seller,
Mhm.
expect this, because
That
if
was
a
my next
seller,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
What do you
because
do
if
as
a
a seller?
seller, yeah, if a seller's got a roof over 10 years old, we need to be able to say, hey, look, due to some new insurance changes, expect that this being an issue,
Mhm.
even if they don't have any issues. But I would say go ahead, try to be proactive, have roof inspections done when listing the house.
Mhm.
It costs like $150 or
Yeah.
around that. I mean, don't quote me on that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
they're very affordable to have a
Mhm.
roofing company come out, do an inspection on the roof, give it that, stamp of approval, or do the small repairs if there are some required, just
Mhm.
to be proactive when you have that come up with the buyer agent.
And roofing companies, you have to be careful because not all of them are legit, right? Because
Reputable.
you,
Exactly.
I'm sure you, like I, saw a whole bunch of overnight roofing experts after
Hmm.
Helene when everyone needed help and everyone was looking for someone. You want to make sure that they're licensed, that they can back what they're saying, right?
Yep. They need to be, you need to verify who they are. Make sure that they have a reputation within the community, because there are a lot of storm chasers,
Hmm.
and you just want to make sure that, that somebody who's used them, that you can check their references, that they're legitimate, that
Hmm.
they're licensed in this state, that they have value in the community, not just flying in and out.
Yeah.
You have a lot of those, especially during storm season, hail season, wind season,
Hmm.
especially during that time.
Gotcha.
Uh, but, call your local who's been in business 10, 15, 20 years, or ask your agent because they know who is being used. You can ask your realtor, you can ask
Hmm.
your insurance agent.
Right.
They know who is reputable.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about types of roofs, not all
Hmm.
roofs are the same,
No.
and
Mhm.
some people have your architectural roofs. You especially understand one roof is better than another. Are there any materials that people, if they're building a home or if they're putting a new roof on, should consider to lengthen the time that their roof is considered to still be good?
Well, think about this. So a shingle roof, when you have a big windstorm, it's shingle over shingle over shingle over shingle. So when you have, and they're easier to dent with a hail hit. And when wind comes in, it's going to lift those shingles. And then when it lifts them, it creases them in the back. They might lay back down, but they're
Mhm.
compromised.
Okay.
Uh, but then a metal roof, those are a lot more sturdy. If
Yeah.
you can have a metal roof, that I recommend that. Some people can afford slate roofs.
Mhm.
I'm not one of those people.
So that's your
And I
top.
know that
That's your
my
very
house
top of
would
the
look,
line. That must be right.
yeah, and shingles get more and more expensive. There's different levels of
Yeah.
architectural shingles.
Hmm.
You can get designer shingles that have, beautiful designs to them and look
Hmm.
cottagey. There's
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
levels, but they get a lot more expensive. But the
Hmm.
difference between a shingle roof and a metal roof price is not that much at all. So
Mm,
if it
okay.
would look appropriate on your house,
Yeah.
it might be something to consider.
Might have to clear the HOA, approval board and all that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
They might be the color. You can't
yeah,
have orange roof with the title
right,
ball
right.
on it. Or
Yeah.
yeah, but
Don't
you're
give
right.
people the idea because it can happen.
Yeah, but HOAs definitely would have a say so in the
Yeah.
material.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, so speaking of good roofs, I want to talk about our listing that we have together at
Hmm.
33 Southview Ledge up at the Cliffs at Glassy. Because I remember when we visited for our very first appointment with our clients,
Hmm.
you noted that they've got a pretty great roof. I remember you
Yeah,
saying that it was a very, very well done roof. Is that architectural? And I'll drop in some pictures and video for people to look at as we're talking about it.
I believe theirs was an upgraded shingle. It
Okay.
was
All
a
right.
it was a higher end shingle,
Yeah.
and just from looking at it from experience, I could tell that the roof looked good, especially to be at the top of a mountain and
Mm-hmm.
where there's going to be higher winds and a
That's
little bit
true.
more weather. But the roof was, it looked really nice, and it was an upgraded shingle, if designer shingles that just kind of give a little extra je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. Yeah, exactly. Well, and we're big fans of this home. Yeah, obviously we're trying to sell it, but we love the home for the view. So you're right. When you live in the mountains, you're going to get some wind, but this home just has the most incredible view, Amy.
Hmm.
That rock formation in the backyard,
Its
just
own artwork. It's definitely a canvas. It's a beautiful painting. The backdrop, the miles beyond miles of
yeah.
views, the natural rock formation. But it's unmatched with that view for sure.
It is. It's tucked inside Cliffs at Glassy. So, as people may or may not know, membership is available with that home, which gives you
Hmm.
access to all 7 Cliffs communities. And some of those communities are over where you are most of the time, over near Lake Kiowee and Lake Hartwell. Is that right?
Yeah, they are. They stretch a good ways. And if
Hmm.
you're a golfer, I mean the golf
Oh yeah,
courses are amazing and gorgeous. The hiking is great. You're a really close shot to little mountain towns.
yeah.
This is a perfect time of year to be up
Yeah.
there. The
Everyone's up
leaves
there
are
from all across the country. They converge in the
all the peepers. It's just beautiful though. I mean it's stunning.
yeah, it is.
And it's
Well,
cold today.
I know, yeah, a little chilly, but I'm ready. I'm kind of ready for it. I've had enough of the hot summer temperatures. I don't know about you, but I'm a cold weather fan, so this is kind of good.
Yeah, I'm
Good
enjoying
change.
the change of wardrobe and bundling
Yeah,
up and the fires at night
yeah.
and
Have you eaten a lot of Halloween candy before the actual trick or treat event tonight, like I have?
well, I did buy 3 bags to take trick or treat, and they may or may not be open. And I
I mean, that's
have
how we
another
are.
bag on the kitchen counter that
Yeah,
may or may not be open.
you have to
So
just try them and make sure they're good enough for the kids,
I had
right?
to make sure they weren't stale.
Exactly. All
And it'll
right.
be
Well,
cheaper when you bundle.
yeah.
So you get discounts for bundling cars, boats, house. Another thing I would mention is if you're purchasing a house and you're making or buying a larger house than what you have, you also need to adjust your life insurance because you have uh, a higher investment to protect.
Mhm.
So that would be one thing that I would also consider. And just make sure you talk to your agent, insurance agent, and realtor at the beginning of the process when you've identified a house so that the ball can get rolling
Mhm.
and no surprises pop up later. You can just start getting ahead of it right away. And if there are issues with the roof or anything else, I mean, one of them were the balusters on the deck, they were too far apart, had to be fixed. Go in and make sure that those things that maybe a home inspector doesn't pick up on, because home inspectors don't always inspect the roof. That's another thing.
Good to know.
So that might be an extra add-on, or they just don't do it
Mhm.
because they don't climb up on the roof. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
may use a drone, but you're not getting a big enough picture with a drone.
Uh-huh.
They're going to want somebody on the roof looking for hail hits, nail pops, loose shingles, lifted shingles, things of that nature.
Okay.
So just be proactive, ask all the questions.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like it's worth it to pay a little bit here and there while you can before you face a huge insurance bill or, payment.
Especially 2 weeks after closing, and then you get a cancellation letter in the mail,
Yeah.
which I've seen a lot of. Try to be ahead of it instead of at the back end, all of a sudden you're being canceled and then you're having to scramble for a
Mhm.
homeowner's policy. And now you're, you know, kind of stuck in a bad position.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We'll try to avoid that for sure. Well,
Yeah, it
all
causes
right.
it causes unneeded stress.
Yeah. Well, and this holiday season tends to have its own stressors, so hopefully buyers and sellers are doing what they can to avoid any
Yeah.
unnecessary stress, especially when it comes to insurance. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
well, thanks, Amy. And hey, if anyone
Yeah.
is looking to buy or sell around Lake Hartwell, Lake Kiwi, Lake Jocassee, Anderson County, Greenville County,
Mhm.
Amy Hammond is the one to call. So,
Well,
thanks so
so are
much.
you, and we like to, offer our services too for the price of one.
We
So
do, yeah. We're a good team. I know we love working
we are a
together.
good
So
team.
that's right. We're willing to do it as well together. So,
Yes.
Amy, thank you so much. I appreciate your expertise and your time.
Yeah, thank you. And if anybody needs any help with an insurance quote, you know how to get me.
Yep. Call Amy Hammond. All right.
And
We'll see
thanks,
you later.
Christy.